This is like the Blair Witch Project. And put another one up. Break it up.
Oh my god, why is everyone leaving me? I need to... I don't know where to go! Don't leave me! Oh my god. I'm still recovering.
No.
What the?
And we are back. The first BioLayne training summary post-Worlds. And this isn't the first training session post-Worlds. This is like 10 days later. So we'll just cover things real quick. As you guys know, Worlds went pretty much as well as could possibly be expected. I was super happy with the outcome. I had my best meet ever. You know, that went 9 for 9 for my first time. It just... You know, especially considering all the setbacks and aches and pains and injuries and everything I dealt with, just could not be happier with everything. But it's not about what I just did; it's about what I'm going to do. So I enjoyed that, I had fun, and now I'm on to the next thing. I don't know what the next thing is at this point. I have not decided on whether or not I'm going to do nationals yet. You know, Ben and I talked, and we think for my long-term lifting career. For lack of a better term, I need a little bit of a break. Now, break for me does not mean not lifting. What I did was I've dropped back squatting to twice a week here, deadlifting twice a week, and benching 3 times a week. And just giving my body a chance to recover. So what I'm doing is so this was a day of 4 sets of 9 with 470, and I went and trained at Ryan and Ben's place. And they actually felt very smooth. This may be the best I've ever felt after a meet, and so the idea is to give myself some active rest. I'm sorry. So let me back up. I'm doing 9s and 5s on squat, and then once every 2 weeks. So I'm AMRAPing 1 week, and then the next week instead of an AMRAP, I'm doing conservative max. The idea being that when my frequency is lower, the conservative max is going to help me maintain my strength better. On deadlifts, I am doing 8s one day and 4s the other. So this was 3 sets of 8 here with 500, I believe. So, or maybe it was 495. So the idea being, I'm going to try and maintain my strength and give my body a break, which I actually feel really good right now. My lower back feels really good. And then I know, I mean, just look at how much progress I was able to make in basically a 6-week training block before Worlds. You know, not starting from scratch, but you know, damn near you know, starting over based on how far I had to go. And then on bench press, I'm doing my days are 9, 7, 5. And here's Ryan doing some sets. For those that don't know. The reason I'm turned the other way is I'm selfieing his set. But Ryan is just, man, he is made to squat. You know, you look at me, I'm not how you would draw up a great squatter. You know, long limbs, short torso, I'm just not made to be a great squatter. But 1, I'm really hard-headed, and 2, I have really good lumbar. So I made myself become a good squatter. And got there. So this is actually my first conservative max day on bench here with 365, and I was actually really impressed. This moved very smoothly. The other thing is I'm actually dieting. I've got something coming up that I'm not going to tell you guys about just yet, but I'm looking to get leaner. So this was 365, and then I did 5 sets of 5 with 300. and everything moved really smoothly. Ironically, bench is supposed to go down most when you're losing weight, and it has actually felt the best that it's felt in a long time. So I don't know, I'll take it. But yeah, so I'm dieting as well, so there's compounding factors here, and it's hard to deal with the fact that I'm probably going to lose a little bit of strength in my squat and my deadlift. But I know that'll come back if I really need it, when I really need it, and when I get a good training block in. So here's a conservative max that weekend with 605. So this would be 2 weeks post Worlds right here, and it moved not great, but I sometimes this happens, especially with conservative maxing. It's just one of those things where some days you got it, some days you don't, and especially when you're not training as frequently, it's you lose some of that adaptation, you lose some of that skill. So then I backed off and did 5 sets of 5 with 500, which corresponds to about 82.5%. So what I'm really trying to do is, since I'm only squatting 2 days a week, build quite a bit of volume through my training. So that's why I'm doing sets of 9 and then sets of 5 here, because I'm still able to build quite a bit of volume through these, even though I'm only going twice a week. Now, actually, what I've started doing more recently, I won't show in this video, but I'll start showing, is my fat loss. I did pretty well, and then it kind of stalled a little bit, and so now I added a third day of squats of basically speed squats for cardio. So instead of doing regular cardio, what I'm doing is I do like 6 sets of 8 with 50% of my 1 rep max, which is 335, and I just go through them as quickly as I can, usually resting about a minute and a half in between each set, and just try to bang them out as fast as I can. That gets my heart rate up to around 180, 190. So we'll see how it works. It's something I'm new, I'm toying with. Always be learning. Never be afraid to try out new techniques. So I figure, that's an easy way to build 16,000 pounds of volume. I get more practice with the squat, and I'm burning some more calories, getting some more activation of those anaerobic systems and aerobic systems. So this is 280 for sets of 9, 4 sets of 9. They moved pretty good, I felt like. It's kind of funny going back. So Paul's videoing me here. Those of you who follow me on Instagram and Facebook, this was the over-the-chest view of presses that I posted the other day, so I could show you how I activated my lats when I bench press. So, and those of you who know, I just recently had my bench press tutorial come out at bodybuilding.com. If you go to bodybuilding.com and search Layne Norton bench press tutorial, you can see it. Now, obviously, some people will say, hey, your bench press is your worst lift. What business do you have giving advice on bench press? Well, that's fine. But one thing to keep in mind is that I have very long arms, and even though bench press isn't a great lift for me, I still, at Worlds, I was 11th out of 21 in my weight class on bench press. So I was still middle of the pack. It wasn't like I was an awful bench presser. And at Nationals, I'm still in the, I would say, the top third or top quarter of guys in bench pressing. So, and and considering I came back from a torn pec, I think I've done relatively well with it. So I'm showing you some accessory work here because I've actually added in a lot more, since I'm squatting only twice a week, deadlifting twice a week. I'm adding in a lot more hypertrophy work for my show muscles, so for shoulders and back and arms and all that sort of thing, and calves. And what's interesting is I've definitely gotten leaner, but the scale really hasn't changed much. So I think I'm gaining some muscle back in those areas from putting that volume back in. But it's just not, so I'm not really losing pounds on the scale, but my composition's changing. Now people will say, well, why didn't you just keep that volume in to begin with when you were doing powerlifting? And that's a valid question. And to be honest, it's just a very practical answer: time. Some of my sessions when I'm doing squat, bench press, and deadlift, when I'm doing it 4 days a week, squatting and 4 days a week bench pressing and 3 days a week deadlifting or 2 days a week deadlifting, those sessions can take onwards of 3 hours. And I've got a 2-year-old, I got a family, I've got stuff I got to do. Shout out to my friend Colin DeWay here. Colin's getting ready for a meet here in 2 weeks So Colin just moved to Tampa, and actually I was bench pressing one day, and in comes this guy with SBD knee sleeves and a powerlift trainer shoes and SBD socks and wrist wraps and all this stuff. I'm like, well, he seems like he knows what he's doing. I was bench pressing, and I could tell he kind of wanted to use the bench too. So I said, hey, would you mind working in, or do you want to work in? And he said, oh no, it's okay. And then we got talking, and he's like, ended up he had followed my stuff, and he said I was a big influence on him, and he's doing coaching now, strength coaching and whatnot. So you guys, I'll put a link to his channel. Go subscribe to his channel. He's a good guy. He's actually helping me with video editing now because he's a lot better at it than I am. So you can thank the cleanup video to Colin. He's a great guy and somebody to watch going forward. Here's Paul. Paul is doing a set of 10 here with 405. Paul's been dieting too. Paul's only like 215 pounds now. He's team skinny with me. So anyway, but he's doing really well. So this is the next squat session, my higher rep day. This is 5 sets of 9 with 480. This was brutal. God, by the last set, I think I had to take a 10-15 minute rest because I was so winded. And even after 15 minutes, my heart rate was still above like 130. So you can see Colin there in the background. Interesting story about Colin. He actually basically quit his job and moved down to Tampa to pursue coaching, strength coaching and nutrition and whatnot. So that's really cool. A lot of people, I use that as an example. People, I put something up on Instagram the other day, people live their lives like they aren't going to die, They act like they're going to live forever, and so they just, well, I'll do this tomorrow, or I'll do this thing. I know I always want to do it, but I'll do it, next year or whatever. You're going to die. Like, it's the one thing that's assured is you are going to die. There's no debate about it. There's no question. You are going to die. In the words of Steve Jobs, you're already naked. Like, understanding that, knowing that you're going to die, you're already naked. And so all the fear about failure and all this kind of stuff, like, all that goes away in the face of death. And that's what you face every day. Like, you could die tomorrow. Why in the hell would you want to do anything with your life other than what you want to do? It was always just an easy proposition for me. I may fail, but damn it, I want to try. And so I admire Colin for that. It takes a lot of guts to do something like that. So like I said, give him a follow. He's a good guy, and looking forward to getting more good lifting sessions in with him. Looking forward to see how he does in the meets going forward. But if I can impress upon anybody listening out there who's kind of on the fence about pursuing their goals or pursuing their dreams, do it. In the words of Shia LaBeouf, do it. It's just, it drives me crazy. People, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Shut up. Do it. At least try. Like, what does not trying get you? It gets you the same thing as failing, except maybe your ego isn't as harmed. It just drives me nuts. So do it. Do it. Do it now. So this was actually, that was earlier that day, was the squat session at Powerhouse. And then later that day I actually had to go home because I had to watch my son, and we got him down for a nap, so I went to finish up my session. So it was hot as hell in the BioLayne lab this day. My air conditioner's out, so we put it on. I put on all the fans and took off the shirt, and we were lifting in probably about 100-degree weather with about 90% humidity. It was pretty awful. But actually everything moved pretty smooth. So these were deadlifts with, I believe it's 505. And for 3 sets of 8, and they felt pretty easy, honestly. So you can see how I kind of pull my lats and activate my lats when I'm deadlifting. And then bench press was 300 for 5 sets of 7, as you can see here. So, yeah, shirtless, attention hog, whatever. It's my house. I had the option to not record or record, and I figured, regardless, you guys want this footage. So, but I'm sure there's some people out there that say, "Oh, look, he's just going for attention." Well, I got a YouTube channel. Of course, I'm trying to get attention. Jeez, it's always funny to me that people say that have YouTube channels or Facebooks or whatever it is. Well, I really don't want attention. Stop it. Of course you do. I mean, the difference is what are you willing to do to get attention? You know, this is one of my problems with the YouTube community is, you know, there's a certain percentage of people who like actually lift, you know, like I'm going to leave a bunch of people out, but you know, like a Mark Bell and a Ben Rice and Bryce Lewis and Ben and Ryan and you know all these guys, you know, they actually lift, like they actually do stuff. And then you have a certain population of people that basically all they do is talk trash. Like what they do is, in order to get their subs up, they just pick somebody else out to talk trash about. And you know, if I wanted to pick up 200,000 subs, I could start talking trash about people. But that's not what I want my legacy to be. You know, if you don't like me, fine, don't subscribe. Or if you don't dig what I'm doing, don't subscribe. I'm cool with that. That's your right. But I'm not going to pander to the lowest common denominator just so I can, you know, get more subs. I'm not going to compromise who I am as a human being to do that. So I think it's okay, you know, to you know, say you want attention, as long as you're not willing to compromise your ethics and morals to do that. I think that's where it becomes a problem. Sorry for the side rant. So this day was 5 sets of 5 with squat with 545, and then the AMRAP, and I got 7 on the AMRAP. Not a great number, but not a bad number either. I would say it's, you know, about average of what I would expect. So, and then here's next week's, or I'm sorry, here's bench press. This is 280 for sets of 9. And actually, I think I got ahead of myself. This is actually the following week, so I actually put the clips out of order. So, my bad. Maybe that's why I don't have 100,000 subscribers. Can't get my clips in the right order, you know. So, this is 280 for 9s for 5 sets of 9, and then rewinding. This was the previous Friday. That was a Monday. This is the previous Friday, and I did 5 sets of 5. With 315 and then an AMRAP, and I got 8 on the AMRAP, which is an all-time PR for me at a lighter body weight, which I'm pretty stoked about. So got Loco spot me in the background. You guys saw the BioLayne intro with Loco. I am of the personal opinion that is the greatest BioLayne intro in the history of BioLayne intros. Loco, I was making fun of her because I'm like, you know, you wear, like, you put your hair in black, and you know, you wear black clothing and, you know, high-heeled shoes and skulls and all this stuff, and you are the most scared person I know of anything. We were walking out, we were shooting fireworks off my dock for the 4th of July, and we're walking out there, and she sees a frog and is like, oh my god. So, but for that, Lauren, we thank you, because you provided us with endless entertainment over the years. And but all seriousness, all joking aside, she's a great training partner, and me and Paul are blessed to have her in there with us. All right, moving on to deadlifts. Last deadlift session of last week. So this was 585 for 4 sets of 4, and then a 5th set for an AMRAP. So here's the one set I did with hook grip, practicing, and these were moving. My lower back, actually at the previous squat session with the 545, my lower back was sore, and then it was still, my hamstring and lower back were still pretty sore on this day. My right hamstring's been actually getting kind of a little more sore. I think it's from actually the decreased frequency of squatting. I'm squatting less frequently, so I'm getting more sore. So maybe that 3rd squatting session for speed will help with that. So here's the AMRAP set, got 8. Again, not a great number, but a good number, and I would say an average number of what I should get. And it wasn't really a grinder or anything. I just didn't feel like going for a 9th rep and possibly, you know, risk messing up my back, especially when I'm not deep in a heavy training cycle. So it was pretty good. And then here's more footage from the following week. These are going to be my last footage because I didn't get the rest. This is 305 for 5 sets of 7, and this was at IFAST in Indianapolis. I was up in Indianapolis visiting a family member who's going through some chemotherapy right now, and I don't really want to say more than that, but they're doing well, and I have no doubt they're going to kick cancer's ass. So I was up there for about a week, and got a good workout in here. So thanks to the guys at iFast, and also Lift Lab. That was another place I trained at, and they were very accommodating to me, so I really appreciate that. If you ever get a chance to get in the area, check out iFast. They're a great facility. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.